check the rest of this pipe in the system in general. Cheers.
Cheers. Welcome to
Hey,
SIC SIPs. Howdy. That's a good one. We're from Arizona.
You're a Southern boy at heart, so.
Yeah, you are.
Cowboy.
Not really. Kind of. Oh well. We're back. We're doing a testimony. What are we doing, Peter?
Testimony Tuesday.
Testimony Tuesday.
Testimony Tuesday.
Testimony Tuesday.
That's what we're doing.
So, I would like to hear about an obstruction investigation testimony, because that's what we're talking about.
Right.
Obstruction investigations. Share with me a project that you remember really well regarding obstruction investigations that you just were like psyched about, that you found something concerning, something that would bring value to learning about obstruction investigations.
Yeah, totally. The one that came to mind when we were talking about this before was a project we did for a school district where they had us basically go out and do all of the 5 years for all of their campuses across the city. And then out of the 5 years, which this is one of the things that can trigger an obstruction investigation, we noticed that these buildings needed, I don't remember how many it was, like 20 or something buildings.
And that's out of like hundreds.
Yeah, hundreds. Several hundred buildings. A few of them needed a further investigation. So that's what the OI is. Basically, you take your 5 year and you go a little step further to assess the extent of whatever issue is going on. So we did that, and I mean, we were on site at some of these schools during the summertime when no kids were around for a day and a half, 2 days on average per building, just scanning the whole thing, making sure everything's in good shape. And what was interesting about it is, first of all, the majority of those systems were in great shape. We found basically areas that were either trapped air area or maybe the end of the system where like gunk had been pushed to the end of that, like an end cap. But a little just anecdote that I thought was interesting was we ended up seeing more of those systems than it felt like other people had ever seen, because we kept finding little things that were just idiosyncrasies or unusual parts about the system. One of the ones that stuck out, one of the ones that stuck out to me was, so we're in one of the classrooms, and basically the main ran right against the inside wall on the hall, by the hallway, and then it shot branch lines out across the room to cover the room. And the first branch line in that room was basically right up against the far wall, and it was over the top of a built-in, really dope bookshelf. So
I remember this one.
This is like these buildings are all built like 50 years ago. They're very old, and this is like a really cool classic old bookshelf. It's one of those ones that like should be in a university, but it's in like an elementary school. It was just giant dark wood, really well made, super sturdy and gorgeous looking. And I'm climbing not on the bookshelf because that would be a travesty, but on the ladder next to it. And I get up to the top and I'm checking this branch line. And at the end, I noticed that I couldn't tell you exactly what caused it. There was basically a leak, slow leak happening out of the threads at the head. It looked like somebody had basically over-tightened it, was what I thought. I don't know for sure because I wasn't there when they installed it. But this leak is happening, and it's been there for so long that the wood beneath it has actually started to erode and rot underneath. So this beautiful bookshelf is being slowly ruined by a drip that apparently no one else had detected, and I don't know how long it would take to detect it, unless you were to go to every room and look at every sprinkler head, which wasn't being done.
And that kind of gets into design.
It's a design issue.
Design and real life condition assessments, which is what an OI is. I think that's really unique when these OIs do get triggered. It is, hey, we know there's at least some sort of significant issue that's happening. All right, well, what's going on in the rest of the system? So you might find more potential issues, but you then have the peace of mind of knowing what's going on with your system. Same thing with like maintenance with a car. You take your car for maintenance, and then they come back and they say, hey, we found this other issue. It pulled up this code. You might want to take a look at this, because it could lead, if you don't do that, like, could lead to some transmission issue. It could lead, so we just don't know. So that's what I think these OIs, obstruction investigations, sorry for using the short term on that, but can really help, is really that real life, what is presently happening today in that system.
And one of the benefits of like the sonic wave too is just like that system is active and live when we're testing. So we'll identify things you wouldn't see otherwise, with air pockets or like this leak that wouldn't appear if there's no water in the system, obviously. So in that particular case, we mapped out that system. It was in great shape. The majority of that system was in fine shape. There was, just some stuff at the end that needed to be kind of flushed out and handled. And that basically that building is now compliant for 5 years and for their obstruction investigation. And we even identified some extra things that would just be maintenance to help the building itself and the system last longer. So that's what I love that story.
Pretty cool.
It's simple, it's straightforward, but
Yeah.
it really does delineate like this 5 year launched an OI, that OI found things that needed to be repaired, but it was minimal and it enabled them to basically maximize their budget for repairs and replacements.
Yeah. I like that. Well, it's better than just replacing the whole system, which is typically what we hear. And I'll say this: we at Sonic are fully against full system replacements. We have never seen a full system replaced in our 17 plus years of business, and I never want to see a full system replaced. I think there are more strategic ways, even just as what you were talking about. Hey, we found these issues that didn't need to require the whole system or the whole building to have to go under a retrofit.
Right.
So I think that's pretty cool.
That's great. Yeah. So that's my story.
Nice. All right. Cool. Well, guys, that's Testimony Tuesday with Peter and his school district OI testimony. So yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks
I hope you guys
appreciate it.
Enjoy it. We'll talk to you soon. Cheers.